When you think about the moments that shaped you into who you are today, were they the easy days? Probably not. It wasn't the times when everything was going smoothly that transformed you. It was the days when you were forced to push harder than you thought possible. The moments when you were tested, stretched, and broken down before being built back up again. That's the paradox of life. The days we call bad are often the very days that carve the deepest strength inside us. Think about how muscles grow. In the gym, you don't become stronger by lifting what feels comfortable. Growth happens when you lift something heavy, when you push yourself to the point of tension, even discomfort. The tiny tears in the muscle fibers are painful in the moment, but it is in the healing process that the muscle grows back stronger than before. Life is the same. Struggles may tear at you, they may make you feel weak in the moment, but in reality, they are preparing you for a greater strength you couldn't achieve otherwise. The truth is, bad days aren't setbacks, they are stepping stones. When you lose a job, face a rejection, or endure a heartbreak, it feels like the end of the road. But in hindsight, these experiences often reveal themselves as turning points. They teach you perseverance, patience, and adaptability. Imagine if everything in your life always went right. No obstacles, no failures, no disappointments. At first, it might sound appealing, but think carefully. Would you grow? Would you learn resilience? Would you discover how much strength lies inside you? Without pressure, coal never becomes a diamond. Without storms, roots never grow deep. Without battles, warriors are never made. Every bad day you face is building something invisible inside you. Call it grit, call it endurance, call it faith. This inner strength doesn't show up on the easy days, but when life throws you another challenge down the road, suddenly you'll notice that you can stand taller, fight harder, and last longer because of what you've already survived. That is the hidden gift of bad days. They build a strength that good days cannot. And here's something important to remember. Strength is not built all at once. It's built in layers, little by little, with each trial you go through. Every disappointment you endure adds a brick to your wall of resilience. Every night you cry yourself to sleep and still wake up to face the day adds another layer of grit. Every storm you weather adds another anchor to your soul. Strength is cumulative, and you are stronger today than you were yesterday because of the struggles you've faced. Consider the stories of people we admire most. Nelson Mandela spent 30 years in prison, and yet came out not with bitterness, but with the strength to lead a nation toward reconciliation. Malala Yousafzai was shot for speaking up for education, but that struggle gave her a voice powerful enough to inspire millions. Even in your own life, the people you respect the most aren't the ones who never faced hardship. They're the ones who faced hardship and rose anyway. Their struggles became the foundation of their strength, and yours will too. So the next time you're in the middle of a bad day, instead of asking, why me? Try asking, what is this building in me? That shift in perspective can change everything. It's not that the pain disappears, it's that the pain now has meaning. It's no longer random suffering, it's purposeful growth. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. Remember, the oak tree is not strong because the wind never blows against it. It's strong precisely because the wind challenged it every day, forcing its roots to dig deeper and its trunk to grow tougher. You too are becoming unshakable, not because life is easy, but because it is hard. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize that the very days you thought were breaking you were actually the days that were making you. Bad days are not the enemy of a good life. They are the architects of it. They design the strength, courage, and resilience that make the good days possible. Without them, you would never know the depth of your own power. So when life feels heavy, when the road feels rough, remind yourself, struggles are not setbacks. They are setups. They are building in you a strength that no comfort, no ease, and no shortcut ever could. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers, though it rarely feels like it in the moment. When you're going through it, whether it's the sting of failure, the ache of heartbreak, or the exhaustion of disappointment, it feels meaningless, even cruel. But if you look back at your life carefully, you'll notice something remarkable. Some of the most painful chapters were also the ones that taught you the most. Bad days carry wisdom that good days simply cannot. Think about failure. When everything is going right, success feels effortless, and we rarely stop to analyze why. But when things go wrong, when you fall short, you're forced to confront reality. Failure shines a light on your blind spots. It reveals where you need to grow, what you need to change, and who you need to become. Without failure, you'd never improve because you'd never see the areas that require attention. Failure hurts, but it sharpens you. It strips away arrogance, it humbles you, and it forces you to dig deeper. Heartbreak works in a similar way. When someone leaves you or betrays you, the pain can feel unbearable. But over time, that very heartbreak teaches you about boundaries, about self-worth, about the difference between attachment and love. It teaches you to look inward rather than outward for validation. If love always worked out perfectly, would you ever truly learn what it means to value yourself first? Probably not. Sometimes pain teaches you lessons that comfort never could. Loss is another teacher. Losing someone you care about or losing an opportunity you thought was yours feels like an end. But loss teaches the value of gratitude. It reminds us that nothing is guaranteed, that every moment is precious, and that people we love should be cherished while we have them. In this way, pain turns into perspective. It reshapes your priorities and awakens you to truths you might have otherwise overlooked. Here's the thing. Pain strips away illusions. On the easy days, it's easy to live on autopilot, to take things for granted, to overlook the deeper meaning of life. But when pain hits, suddenly everything becomes clearer. You start asking deeper questions. What really matters? Who truly supports me? Where am I going and why? Pain forces honesty. It pushes you to confront truths you might otherwise avoid. Consider the story of Thomas Edison. Before he successfully invented the light bulb, he failed thousands of times. Each failure, though painful, revealed a lesson, another way that didn't work, another step closer to success. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found ways that won't work." That mindset turned pain into a guide rather than a dead end. Or think of J.K. Rowling, rejected by publisher after publisher before Harry Potter became a worldwide phenomenon. Each rejection was painful, but those rejections revealed the lesson of persistence, resilience, and faith in her own story. Without the pain of rejection, she might never have discovered just how committed she was to her vision. Even in everyday life, pain is a mirror. When you face a tough situation, it shows you not only the world, but yourself. It reveals your triggers, your limits, your resilience, and your values. For example, when you face criticism, you might initially feel anger or defensiveness. But if you reflect, pain teaches you whether that criticism contains truth or whether it's simply teaching you to stand firm in your convictions. Either way, the lesson is there, but here's the challenge. Pain's lessons are not automatic. You can go through bad days and learn nothing if you only focus on the suffering. The key is reflection. Asking yourself, what is this teaching me? What is the hidden lesson here? That shift turns pain into growth. Without reflection, pain just feels like punishment. With reflection, pain becomes preparation. And this is why bad days, though heavy, are part of a good life. They are the days that carve wisdom into your soul. Wisdom that good days simply don't have the power to provide. Good days give you joy, but bad days give you depth. And it is depth that allows you to live with meaning, to connect with others, and to understand yourself at a deeper level. So the next time you're going through pain, don't rush to escape it. Don't numb it, bury it, or ignore it. Instead, lean into it. Sit with it for a moment and ask, what is this showing me that I would not see otherwise? You might be surprised at the clarity that emerges. Pains may not give you what you wanted, but it will give you what you needed. In fact, some of the greatest people in history became who they are not in spite of their pain, but because of it. Their bad days revealed lessons that shaped their lives and gave them the wisdom to guide others. And your life is no different. Your pain has a purpose. Your struggles carry meaning. Your bad days may not feel like gifts right now, but one day you'll look back and realize they were some of the greatest teachers you ever had. Bad days don't just test you, they teach you. And if you're willing to listen, the hidden lessons inside your pain can transform your life. Life is not meant to be lived in one tone, one shade, or one feeling. Just as a painting gains depth from its shadows and brightness from its highlights, your life gains richness because of its contrasts. You cannot truly appreciate joy if you've never experienced sadness. You cannot savor success if you've never tasted failure, and you cannot cherish light unless you've known darkness. Bad days, therefore, are not interruptions in your story. They are the very threads that make the good days meaningful. Imagine if life were only good, only easy, only filled with comfort. At first, it might sound appealing, but after a while, sameness would dull the experience. Happiness without sorrow to compare it to would lose its sweetness. Victories without struggle would feel hollow. Comfort without challenge would feel like stagnation. The truth is, contrast is what gives life flavor. Just as sweet fruit tastes sweeter after something bitter, your best days shine brighter because of the hard ones that came before. You think about it. What makes a sunrise breathtaking? It's not just the light itself, but the fact that it breaks through the darkness. The night makes the dawn remarkable. In the same way, your bad days prepare you to notice the beauty of your good days. Without bad days, good days would simply blend into the background. They would lose their sparkle because nothing would stand in contrast to them. This is why people who have gone through hardship often radiate the deepest gratitude when life finally blesses them. A person who has experienced hunger never takes food for granted. Someone who has lived in loneliness cherishes genuine companionship. Someone who has endured poverty appreciates the value of financial stability in a way the privileged may never understand. Contrast creates awareness. It sharpens your sense of gratitude. Think of your own life. Do you remember the times when you struggled, when you thought you wouldn't make it? Compare them to the moments when you triumphed. Doesn't the victory feel sweeter because of the battle? A student who failed an exam and then worked tirelessly to pass the next one knows the joy of success far more deeply than the student who passed effortlessly. A person who has walked through heartbreak knows the miracle of native true love more vividly than someone who never struggled in relationships. Contrast doesn't just highlight the good, it defines it. Nature itself teaches this lesson. Without winter, spring would not feel alive. The flowers bloom beautifully because they survive the cold, barren months. Without storms, we wouldn't notice the calmness of clear skies. Without shadows, we wouldn't recognize the brilliance of light. Life's balance is woven into this rhythm of contrasts, and humans are no exception. We too need both struggle and ease, both pain and joy, both endings and beginnings to fully experience the richness of existence. Even in stories and movies, contrast is what makes them powerful. Imagine a story where nothing goes wrong, where the hero never struggles, where there is no conflict. Would you watch it? Probably not. The hero's victory is inspiring precisely because of the challenges they faced. Without obstacles, the story would feel empty. In the same way, your own life story is made meaningful by the ups and downs, the setbacks, and comebacks. The contrasts are not mistakes, they are what make your story worth telling. But here's the secret. Contrast isn't just about appreciating the highs after the lows. It's also about learning to hold both at once. Life will never be all good or all bad. Even on your darkest days, there are moments of light if you're willing to see them. And even on your brightest days, there are shadows that remind you to stay humble. Recognizing this balance allows you to live with deeper awareness, neither crushed by pain nor blinded by joy. Contrast also teaches you empathy. If you've experienced suffering, you're more likely to understand and connect with the suffering of others. Your own struggles create compassion, and compassion is what binds us as human beings. If life were only good to you, how would you relate to someone who is hurting? But because you've walked through dark valleys, you can now walk alongside others in theirs. That too is the gift of contrast. The next time you face a bad day, remind yourself this moment is not meaningless. It is creating the contrast that will make the joy ahead shine brighter. Just as the night sky makes stars visible, your struggles are making your future victories sparkle. Without contrast, life would be flat. With it, life becomes multidimensional, vibrant, and worth living. Bad days then are not mistakes. They are part of the design. They are the shadows that make the light visible, the storms that make calm skies precious, the struggles that make triumphs When you embrace the contrast, you no longer see bad days as enemies. You see them as partners in the journey of creating a meaningful life. So instead of wishing for a life with no darkness, wish for the wisdom to see how the darkness makes the light glow brighter. Because it is through contrast that life finds its beauty, and through bad days that good life becomes truly good. On your shoulders, everything seems heavier, slower, and harder. You begin to wonder if this bad day, this failure, this rejection, or this heartbreak is what will define you forever. But here's the truth. Bad days do not define you. They refine you. They don't determine your worth. They reveal your strength. Think about gold. Before it shines in jewelry shops, it must first endure the fire of refinement. The flames burn away the impurities, leaving only what is pure and valuable. The fire does not destroy the gold, it transforms it. In the same way, your bad days are not destroying you. They are refining you, burning away fear, pride, or weakness, and leaving behind resilience, humility, and wisdom. The very struggles that make you doubt yourself are the same struggles that are shaping you into a stronger version of who you are meant to be. Too often, people mistake moments for definitions. A single failure feels like a label. I am a failure. A heartbreak feels like identity. I am unworthy of love. A rejection feels final. I am not enough. But these are lies pain tries to whisper to you. The truth is, one moment does not define a lifetime. One bad day cannot erase your potential, your value, or your future. At most, it is a chapter in your story, but it is never the whole book. Look at history. Abraham Lincoln lost election after election before finally becoming one of the greatest presidents in American history. If he had allowed his failures to define him, his story would have ended before it began. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job, told she wasn't fit for TV. Imagine if she had believed that one bad day was her definition. Millions of people would never have been inspired by her journey. Bad days did not define them. They refined them into leaders, visionaries, and icons. Even in ordinary lives, the same principle holds true. A student who fails an exam is not doomed to a lifetime of failure. That failure refines them. It teaches discipline, focus, and perseverance, shaping them into someone capable of success later. Someone who goes through a breakup is not condemned to loneliness forever. That pain refines them. It teaches self-respect, boundaries, and the courage to demand better love in the future. In every case, the bad day isn't the definition, it's the preparation. But here's the key, whether bad days refine you or define you depends on your response. If you choose to wallow, to accept the lie that this is who I am, then yes, bad days can become chains that hold you down. But if you choose to rise, to reflect, to extract the lessons, and let go of the bitterness, then bad days become fuel. They refine your character and sharpen your vision for the life ahead. And let's be honest, refinement is not easy. It hurts to go through the fire. It hurts to feel rejected, to stumble, to lose, to face setbacks, but the fire of refinement has a purpose. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every wound carries wisdom. Every setback prepares you for a comeback. Without the fire, you remain untested. With it, you emerge stronger, braver, and more prepared for the life you're meant to live. Remember, your identity is not tied to your worst moments. Your worth is not measured by your failures. Your future is not determined by your past struggles. Who you are is defined by how you rise after the fall, how you learn from the pain, and how you allow the difficult days to shape, not shatter you. So the next time you face a bad day, remind yourself, this is not the end of me. This is the making of me. Your story is not written in one day of pain. Your story is written in the persistence, courage, and faith you bring to every single day after. Bad days are sandpaper, rough, uncomfortable, sometimes painful, but they smooth the edges, polish the surface, and bring out the shine hidden underneath. A good life is not the absence of bad days. It's the presence of growth, wisdom, and strength that those bad days created. You don't need to fear them, and you don't need to run from them. You only need to remember that they are part of the refining process. You are not less because you've struggled. You are more, you've been tested, and you're still here. And that alone is proof that bad days cannot define you. They can only refine you. So hold your head high, walk through the storms with courage, let the fire refine you, not destroy you. Because one day, when you look back, you won't see a life ruined by bad days. So, you'll see a life made stronger, brighter, and richer because of them. And you'll realize that bad days were never the enemy. They were the sculptors shaping you into the best version of yourself.